Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pearls and Swine on Good News You Can Use. I'm Levi.
And I'm Lisa. And I feel like every week you walk in here with some kind of number in your pocket. You do like numbers. That's true.
I do like numbers because it confuses you.
Okay. Wow. That's true. Okay, go ahead.
Words do not, but numbers do.
Okay. What's your number for today?
30.
You weirdo.
That's in 30 pounds.
30 pounds of what?
Barley. You got to stick with me for this. I want to start with a question, though, before we get off just bantering back and forth here. I want to start with an actual question for you. When's the last time that you had to sit down and you really did what I call survival math, like really like that tight budget type of a thing?
Well, I mean, I think that the fire required a lot of that kind of thinking, like, especially as we waited and didn't have all the things. And before the fire, it's been a while.
Yeah. So it's like spreadsheets, figuring out how much you can spend on groceries before payday. Those those kind of like tighten the budget type of a thing. And that's tight math. If I can just get to Friday, or maybe it's not money, it's like a semester. If I can just get to December, right? Like if you're in school, or it's, just a harder season, there's grief or diagnosis. If I can just get out of this, a marriage that's running kind of on fumes, and you're not asking God for abundance or flourishing, you've stopped asking for that. You're just asking him to help you get through Tuesday. You ever have a day like that?
Yeah, Tuesday.
On Tuesday? Okay.
Tuesday.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's where exactly these two women that we're going to talk about in the story today, a widow named Naomi and her daughter-in-law Ruth, they've lost everything. They've lost husband or husbands, their provisions, they have no security, and they're not thriving by any means. They're at best surviving, and that looks like it's a 50-50 chance on that. And I want to read the verse that turns their whole week around. And would you read Ruth 2:17 and 18?
Well, sure. So she gleaned in the field until evening, and then she beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she brought it home and showed it to her mother-in-law, and she also brought out and gave her food what she had left over after being satisfied.
So an ephah of barley.
What does that mean?
It means like a lot. It means like 29, 30 pounds of grain. And the daily ration for like a working adult back in that then was like 2 pounds.
Okay. So what is that, like, again, with the numbers? What does that mean? Compute for me, please.
Well, remember, Ruth is going in, there's this famine is going on, and she's asked in verse 7 if she can glean from Boaz's field. And she eats at his table, which was not expected. She was just going out gleaning, picking up leftovers. She goes there, has supper, and has leftovers, and then she goes and she begins at the end where this thing kind of picks up. It says that she goes back to gleaning, and this is like in the afternoon. She just didn't glean like afternoon wages. She gleaned like 2 or 3 weeks of food in one day. And here's the thing, she wasn't even asking for that.
So she is asking for scraps, like what's left over, but then she comes home with like a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, it's like a Costco run,
nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's equivalent. Like, it's basically a chest freezer worth of grocery, because it turns out the field owner, Boaz, told his crew, pull some extra grain out of the bundles on purpose and drop it where she'll find it. It's almost like, it would be like the equivalent of like, throw all your 10-cent scans in the recycling so somebody can get it. Like, that's what he's doing in that moment. And he rigged the whole field to overflow.
Wow. That's really wild. I think there's this pattern, right? It's not just a one-off thing. The barley with Ruth may be one thing, but it's not actually. It's a pattern that shows up all over Scripture. A widow gives Elijah her literal last meal, and her flour and oil don't run out for the length of a famine.
Yeah, I love that
It's like
story.
one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go get another jar, kid. We got some more oil.
Right? And then 5,000 people come out for a sermon, not lunch, and they leave with 12 baskets of leftovers, which is amazing. I wouldn't mind some snacks while you were preaching on Sunday.
You do get snacks. You get donuts and coffee, right?
Okay, sure.
You always enjoy those.
Oh, okay. Paul, actually, he flat out tells the Ephesians, and this is really beautiful. In Ephesians, he says that God is able to do far more abundantly than we ask or think. Actually, this is like exceedingly abundantly.
Right.
Not just as much, not just enough, but far more abundantly.
Yeah. So the theme in the Scripture is God. I don't think he goes by our spreadsheets. Like what you calculated, you needed. He's not like in the business of matching our math. He's got
I'm really thankful because my math doesn't work out.
It could go good or bad for you if it was that way. Yeah. It almost is like he tends to overshoot. And I want to be careful here because the overshoot doesn't always look like a windfall, right? It's sometimes the overshoot is like you're in a situation and he gives you endurance. Maybe instead of cash, he gives you like abundance of friends and community and just like this, like actually a really good life in the middle of still providing for you. Maybe peace instead of like a paid off house. It's not a formula where you plug in and your need and God spits out 30 pounds of whatever you're hoping for.
It's like D4 vending, not a vending machine.
No, it's
not a vending machine.
It's not it's a pattern though, and patterns are meant to shape expectation. And here's the flip I want to leave everyone with today. It's not what you deserve that determines what God provides. It's simply that you need it. Ruth didn't earn an ephah or 30 pounds. She earned permission to glean. That's all the text tells us. And really, God's grace in the middle of this, helping Boaz to do this, helping Boaz to tell his workers, did a totally different math.
So if somebody's listening right now and they're in the middle of their own survival math, what's the good news for us?
The good news is the size of your ask is not the ceiling of what God can do.
No, that's so nice. That's good.
Well, that's what Paul says. I stole that right from the old Apostle Paul. So,
that's like your day job, right?
Yeah. You're allowed to ask God for survival, but be surprised by the abundance. And in fact, it's usually how it works. Not always, but it usually works like that. He doesn't use our spreadsheets.
So today's takeaway looks like stop budgeting God like he's tight on cash. Yeah, bring him Tuesday. Bring him your Tuesday-sized prayer. And don't be shocked when he hands you back an ephah. I
love that. All right, tomorrow we're going to be talking about what happens when Ruth walks in the door with like all this abundance, barley and like a doggy bag, because somebody in the kitchen is about to have her whole theology arranged. So you're going to want to be here for tomorrow. But for today, take your big, huge Tuesday prayers, give them to God, and see what he can do. That is good news you can use.
Thanks for tuning in with us. If you've got questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. You can email those to office@evangelup.org. If you'd like to catch up on any of the previous Pearls and Swine episodes, just search Evangel Houghton on your preferred podcast platform or go to our website, evangelup.org.